Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Woodstock, Georgia, it's time for Cherokee Business Radio. Now, here's your host.
Welcome to another exciting and informative edition of Cherokee Business Radio. Stone Payton here with you this morning. And today's episode is brought to you in part by our community partner program, the Business RadioX Main Street Warriors, defending capitalism, promoting small business, and supporting our local community. For more information, go to mainstreetwarriors.org. And a special note of thanks to our title sponsor for the Cherokee chapter of Main Street Warriors, Diesel David Inc. Please go check them out at dieseldavid.com. You guys are in for a real treat this morning. First up on Cherokee Business Radio, keynote speaker, group facilitator, realtor, Mr. Brent Rittersdorf. How are you?
I'm doing great, Stone. Thanks for having me this morning. It's a beautiful morning out, and really looking forward to being a part of the show today.
Well, it's a delight to have you in studio. I got a ton of questions, Brent.
All right.
We probably won't get to them all, but maybe a good place to start would be if you could share with me and Joshua, who's also in studio with us. We'll meet with him in a little bit, and our listeners. Mission, purpose. What are you really out there trying to do for folks, man?
Well, I got this keynote. I started creating it a number of years ago. I actually had the privilege to be the president of the Marietta Business Association, and they always have a theme of the year. And I had this theme. It was called Purpose. And I started thinking about how I've always enjoyed speaking in front of groups of people. And I started thinking about this whole purpose message. And I came up with linked a story from when I was in high school, believe it or not, to create a keynote speech called 10 for 10, How the Foul Land Can Change Your Life. And it's all about purpose and all about achieving your greater purpose. But the tee up is purpose is kind of a awkward word if you think of it, because if you were to go to, you've probably been to 1,000 keynote speeches in your life?
Yeah, probably,
right? And if you heard 1,000 of them, 999 of them are going to slide the word purpose in there somewhere. You know, they got to check off the box. It's going to be in a PowerPoint slide, and then, you know, it's almost kind of like tee up this Oprah moment. You got a purpose, and you got a purpose, and congratulations on your purpose. Everybody's got a purpose, right? But what does that mean? You know, and when you start thinking about it and you start asking people, just go up to somebody and ask them, say, hey, what is your purpose? I don't think a lot of people really know how to answer it. And so the whole 10 for 10 thing kind of came out of this story from when I was in high school about, purpose is your life, but 10 for 10 is how you achieve it. And so we kind of have some fun with it. It's about basketball. I bring a portable basketball goal to the keynote speech, and we emulate what 10 for 10 is. Do you want me to tell you what that is?
Yes, please.
All right. Well, when I was in high school, I got to play on the varsity basketball team, and of course, but I grew up in Maine, so I don't know if have you ever been to Maine before?
I went to a fishing camp there one time and had a blast, but I did not play any basketball.
Okay, yeah. Well, Maine's it's way up there. It's a different part of the country. A lot of people have never been. It's only got about 1 million people in the entire state. I grew up in a small town in Rockland, Maine. It was a fishing village at the time, only about 9,000 people. Cue up the movie Hoosiers, because it's a small town and it's all about small town sports. And I got a chance to play on the varsity basketball team. And I was like the 11th man. I was like the 12th man on the team, so I wasn't the starter. I wasn't anything spectacular, but I was able to get on the team, and we had this drill that we'd have to do every night before we could go home from practice, and that was make 10 free throws. But not 10 free throws, 10 free throws in a row.
Oh, my.
So, like, if you got to shot number 7 and you miss,
you start over.
You're going back to 1, right?
I'd be there all night.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of what we felt like, because, in high school, it's 9 o'clock at night. The last people in the gym. You got to go home. You still got homework to do, and you got all this stuff that you got to do. And so the pressure's on to make these 10 free throws.
Sure.
So as a result, though, we ended up becoming very good. at our free throws, and everybody's got their 15 minutes of fame. And in my senior year in high school, we went to the state of Maine basketball tournament, got to the semifinals, went out to a big lead. The team came back. They tried to beat us. We get done with the game. I get done, and the coach is like, "Hey, Brent, you know what you just did?" And I said, "Well, we won the game, coach. We're going to the finals." And he goes, "No, they put you on the line 10 times, and you made all 10 free throws. You went 10 for 10."
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was one of those little small town, stories that, even today, if you in the right, group of people, the people remember those sets of games because that's what's important, in a small town, high school sports. And it became I kind of buried it because when you get out of high school, everybody's telling you don't forget all about, go work hard, right? Go make money, go be happy, go live your life. And I realized that over time, we all do this stuff we call work, and we're supposed to make a lot of money and we're supposed to be happy. But I don't come back to that question is when you ask people what their purpose is, it doesn't connect because in order to really think about what your purpose, you have to think about what it is that you really love to do and know that you're going to work hard and then have faith that the money will come. So this whole 10 for 10 and purpose thing is sort of flipping the script of understanding what it's all about. And so I resurrected 10 for 10. I named all the shots. So every shot has its own name.
Oh, sweet.
Right. And it's all about, these shots kind of mirror your life. And so when you're thinking about your purpose and you're thinking about how you're going to achieve it, this 10 for 10 journey, we are going through it all the time. And it almost becomes its own little language, if you will. Like, hey, I'm on, yesterday was a lousy day and I'm on shot number 3. What the hell shot, right? And so all these shots 1 through 10 all have their names, everything from shot 1 from hopes and dreams all the way up to shot 10, which is cash money. And when you think about your life and all the things that you're trying to do in it, these 10 for 10, these are just experiences along the way, and it's easy to win, right? When you make a basketball goal, it's awesome. And everybody loves to win, right? But when you miss and you got to start all over, and what does a miss look like? I mean, people lose their job, someone gets divorced, you have a breakup, you lose a client, I sell real estate, maybe the house doesn't sell as fast as you want it to sell. And the sellers are antsy, when is, so these are all these little misses along the way. And what 10 for 10 can teach you is it teaches you how to win, of course, but it also teaches you how to handle the setback of the emotion.
Wow.
What it is. So that way, when you're experiencing it, you're like, all right, this is where I'm at. I know what I need to do. And I'm going to push back forward through it. And all the shots have lessons. There's lessons of practice. There's lessons of promise. There's lessons of accomplishment. And it's just been a ton of fun to be able to do. And I got the 10 for 10 brand registered trademark last year. I've got the keynote. You got some handouts in front of you. I've got some hats. I've done some shirts. I've spoken about it in local groups, and just waiting for that one company that says, man, I want this message of purpose for my entire company to go out and travel around and teach them about purpose, because everybody can learn something from this.
So the initial mechanism then for introducing this is right now speaking and promotion, just kind of getting the word out there, coming on premium radio shows. That kind of thing,
premium, definitely. We're on Business RadioX. Come on, what are you talking about?
But the ideal, to dive into the work that you intend to do, you want to be in that corporate environment, helping large and small and medium-sized enterprises leverage these ideas?
Yeah, I do. And, my purpose is to help you make wise decisions. And so when I'm selling real estate, I want you to make wise decisions in real estate that produce favorable results. But what this has evolved to over the years is I really feel like that I can share and teach people how to think and how to grow their career. And, and it doesn't matter whether you're in a corporate W-2 job and you're trying to, you're an emerging professional, or maybe you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to figure out how to grow your business, or you're just trying to raise a family. I mean, there's all kinds of these shots can emulate where you're at. I even spoke to a group of OCS Officer Candidate School for the Army, and these guys were almost a year through their entire school, and we focused on routine, which is shot number 4. for them so that they could balance their lives with giving to their country and giving to their family, and then also doing their jobs as well. So anybody can learn from it. So it's been a ton of fun, and I enjoy speaking in front of people. Everybody has to have an outlet of what they do. Some people like to play golf. I like to speak in front of people.
So at this stage in the development of all of this, what's the most rewarding for you? What's the most fun about it these days?
Yeah, the most fun about it is every time I get a chance, like last week I got a chance to speak to the Paulding Chamber of Commerce. And every time you get to speak in front of a group, you get the opportunity to watch people in the room of how they're doing. So they're either on their phone, as you've been to 1,000 keynotes, everybody's on their phone, or they're listening to you and they're watching what you're doing. And that is so rewarding when you're able to get up in front of a group of people and you have 99% of the people in the room actually just watching you and not, being distracted by something else for, 20 minutes of their life.
So let's map out what an engagement like you're describing with an organization might look like. So I can envision maybe they do bring you in to kind of stoke the fires in the beginning, but then you're talking about doing some real workshop facilitation kind of work, or walk us through that.
Yeah, you could take this program, you could take 10 for 10, and it could be a 30-minute keynote, lighthearted keynote, and just to kind of get the message across.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it. You could take it and make it into an hour keynote where you brought somebody up from the group and everybody got to take a shot that emulated one of the 1 out of 10 shots and expand it into an hour. But then you could take it and turn it into a half-day workshop, maybe even a longer full-day workshop where you break down every one of these shots. So, hopes and dreams is shot number 1, right? And when you're thinking about your purpose and how you're, and we can talk about that in a second as far as defining and identifying it, because there's 3 elements to purpose. You have to be able to define your purpose. You have to be able to identify your purpose, and then you got to be able to achieve it. And I think that's really the big disconnect when people start thinking about, well, what's my purpose? They want to be simple about it.
Right.
Right. So we could talk about it in a workshop of something as simple as like, all right, we'll set you up as, the purpose of things are singular, right? We want to make things very easy in our life. So like the purpose of a microphone is so you can hear me, right? So because if I step over here and I talk, right, you're not going to be able to hear me in front of the microphone. Okay?
Right.
You can do the arm thing, bring me back, right, in front of the microphone. But when you start talking about a person and you say, what's your purpose? It's like, whoa, I got all this, I got to work. I got spiritual. I got my family. And how do you make all that happen? And so you start thinking about how do you define it, and and we talk about that, and we start talking about how to identify purpose, and I talk about that at length. And I actually use my dog Bronson as a story. We can talk about that later if you want. But once you understand the mindset of it, you could take each one of these shots, start with hopes and dreams, and break down what does that shot really mean, and what does it mean to you, and then actually have time where people can say, all right, well, what is your hopes and dreams? What are your dreams? And understanding and getting past the mindset of most people never even get to live their dream.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that stinks. I mean, it's like everybody deserves to be able to have a dream. But then the hope part of it is if you never step up to the line and actually take that first shot, whose fault is it? The person that never gave you the chance, or the person that's looking back at you in the mirror to go for it? So you could spend all this time, and every shot you could talk about that. The shot number 2 is the good luck shot. So, again, that's, half the people in your world want you to succeed. Good luck. Half the people in your world want you to fail or assume that you will. Good luck. And so you can talk about you can talk about all these shots, right? And they all have these different meanings. And so you could go into a workshop where you break it all down, and everybody's been on one of these shots at one time or another. Chances are you might say, well, there's 2 or 3 on this board that resonate with me right now. And man, if you're a professional and you're in middle-level management and you want to get that promotion to VP or something, what are you doing to work on your craft and your practice and your promises to yourself to make these things happen so that you can get promoted? Or are you going to just play the role of the victim when a peer gets promoted and say, well, that's not my fault, or my boss is a loser, and you blame all these people around you, versus looking yourself and saying, what do I need to do different in order to take this as a true miss and go back to shot number one and go back and get to where I want to be.
So when it comes to you landing this work, are you envisioning how people are going to find you? How are you going to find them? Have you cracked the code on the whole sales and marketing thing yet?
I'd say the code is still spinning a little bit. I keep, my definition of purpose is love what you do so much that others will want to participate. So I'm in that moment where I just love what I'm doing so much and just looking for the opportunities to speak in front of people, whether it's, in a room or on a podcast, to talk about the word, so that others will say, hey, I want to hear more. I am in the process of writing the book.
Oh my goodness. Of course. Yeah. Because you don't have enough on your plate.
Yeah, that's right. So
write a book.
I know. So I've got the brand, is built. And the publisher has even said, he goes, most people write a book so they can create a brand to go out and speak. He goes, you've done it. You're already speaking and created the brand. And now the book is sort of the final touch. And I guess I'm in the mindset of that. It becomes a tool to hand to somebody who's a decision maker for a company to say, yeah, he's a published author on this, and must be an expert because he's got a book. So I don't know, but that'll be a great accomplishment for me to get that. I've got the website. So, that, and the website encompasses, the speaking side of me, the networking event that I host, my real estate side, so people can find me all in one spot. And then ultimately after that, it's just, probably working with the publishing company to, create that marketing. So I'm out in front of those decision makers.
I have to think that getting that kind of work, that corporate work, whether it's a speaking engagement or the facilitation workshop, I would think that you would have to endear a great deal of trust with those decision makers very early on. And I bet you're already experiencing that. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, the decision makers, based on my experience, they've got a budget. They've got the money to spend. They can put the program together, but they also want to make their boss look good, and they don't want to look bad in front of their boss as well, right? So they're going to be very cautious as to who they're going to put on that stage. So you're right, that trust factor is going to be a part of it. There's going to be that credibility. They're going to be looking for that instant credibility. So like, oh, you do have a book. Oh, you do have a brand. Oh, you do have merchandise. Oh, you have spoken in front of other groups. And ultimately, I guess, I'm on shot one, hopes and dreams. I need that one person to give me a chance, to put me in front. So then I can say, well, I have spoken in front of these groups and this company and this person. Up until now, I've just sort of joked, and it's fun to joke about it because I've never been on Fox. I've never been on CNN. I've never been on, in a movie. I'm just a regular guy.
Not yet.
Not yet. But, that's the thing I love about this message is that chances are anybody that's sitting in a corporate room or room of sports players or trying to go to college or kids or entrepreneurs, they're just regular people too, trying to make a living. And just so many people go through this experience of life and they don't have a purpose and they're not happy with where they're going. And, for me, if I can change some of that, that's just awesome. That's just awesome. So I'm cool with being the regular guy. I was the backup in high school, on that basketball team. If that's where I'm supposed to be, the backup, and help people realize that, then that's fine too. It doesn't matter how I get there. It's all good.
Sure. So tell me a little bit about the speaker author community. Are you finding that you do, if you look forward and take advantage of it, have the benefit of one or more mentors, cheerleaders to kind of help you navigate this terrain? Because some of them have done what it is you hope to achieve, right?
Yeah, a lot of them have. I mean, there's some out there. There's people that have come up to me and said, "Oh, you could make all this kind of money speaking in front of a group." And honestly, I have not envisioned that. I've not thought about that. I've just been focused on creating a killer keynote and a killer brand that hopefully the rest of it will come. The publishing company that is working with me on the book. It's Ripples Media. They're out of Atlanta. They have been great because I have met a few people that have just tried to take your money, and coaching and all this. And it's, it's shot number 8, is key to kicking the ass. You write a check for coaching and they just take the money and walk away. And you're like, wow, I got to start all over again here and sell another house so I can fund this thing. Right. But, talking to different people with this company, the Ripples Media Company, they have been excellent because they're like, we're going to help you write this book. And our job is not to get the book written. It's to sell the book. We want to sell the book. So we're going to take the time and make sure it's right. And then when the book is done, we're going to help put you in front of different people so that you potentially could help give you opportunities as well. So I really feel good about that particular, I guess, partnership and collaboration. And I feel like there's somebody that's truly willing to help. Some of these other organizations you go into and you really truly do feel like it's kind of a good luck moment. You're not really sure who's there to help you and who's there that just assumes you're not going to make it. So I'm taking it maybe slowly at first to make sure I get the right people, in my court so that once this stuff is all done and we start meeting other people, that we've got a product that stands on its own.
Do you find that engaging in this work, trying to serve people in this way, is also helping you grow personally and even making you a better managing broker in the realty world? You got to be gaining. You're winning all the way along, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you're doing something that you truly love to do, right? Everybody else, people want to participate. So so people who are clients who I've helped them buy and sell homes, and then they hear this message, they're like, "This is really cool." And they want to be a part of it, and they're cheering for you, and they want to make it better. And as it relates to the business side of the real estate thing, there's a couple of things. One, I need to have a budget to be able to do all this 10 for 10 until it becomes self-funding, right? So the more successful I'm in the real estate side, then there's more budget to fund, the 10 for 10 project. So that's important. But the real estate side of it as well is all these things as far as practicing and staying on top of the education in your industry and on top of trends and what's going on and helping a client, whether they're looking to buy or sell or, work on their investment portfolio or commercial lease. All those things are real important for me to be able to dial in the details, because the details are really what matter, right? That's shot 4, routine shot. The details matter. If you're not practicing your details and practicing, and you never want to practice on your clients, right? So you want to be practicing and learning all those different details along the way. So when it counts, you're landing the plane, if you will, and you're getting the keys and cash day, and your client's happy, you're happy, and you're moving on to the next client and helping them.
So passions, interests, hobbies, pursuits outside the scope of the realty or the speaking work, anything you nerd out about that's not this kind of stuff?
I wouldn't say I would say nerd, but no, I like mountain biking. That's a ton of fun. That gives me the opportunity to get outside and just clear the head.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm not a pro or anything like that. I mean, most of the time, both wheels are on the ground. Occasionally I'll get a little bit, aggressive and see what happens. But when you're out on the trail, you're taking your mind is clear. You're enjoying what you're looking at because you're out in the woods or out in a field or on a trail, and you've got to keep your mind clear and open to enjoy it. But you also got to keep your mind on the fact that, okay, there's trees, there's rocks, there's roots, and so if you're not paying attention, you're going to fall, you're going to crash, right? So it really gives you an opportunity to just completely clear your mind and enjoy what's going on outside. And so I enjoy that a lot. I enjoy doing some traveling. My parents, they live out in Phoenix, so I'll go out and see them a few times a year. I got a couple of cousins that live down in Central America, so that's fun. And so I try to take 2 or 3 trips a year and do that stuff as well.
Oh, I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
You can learn a ton about somebody when you ask about those kinds of things. When you ask
about it, yeah. Central America on the Pacific coast has the most incredible sunsets. Beautiful.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, before we wrap, I would love to leave our listeners with a pro tip or two around just, like this whole 10 for 10 idea. And look, gang, the number one pro tip is reach out and have a conversation with Brent. Bring him in to visit with your group, but to keep them sated between now and that conversation, let's leave them with a little something to chew on. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say a couple of things as it relates to one that relates to purpose, and then one that relates to this art of 10 for 10. Take some time and think about the word purpose and what it means to you. And maybe at night, when I get done at the end of every presentation, I always challenge the listeners to go home before they go to bed is to write down what they think their purpose is, and spend a couple of moments in quiet, and look at that person looking back at you in the mirror, and think about what your purpose is. And if your purpose is centered around just working hard to make money to be happy, and you're struggling with answering the question, think about it as, are you doing what you love to do? And the work will come as a result that's probably harder than you've ever worked before. And then you have faith that the money will come on the backside. And I think you'll find that you'll have a better understanding of how to answer that question. And then as you jump into the 10 for 10 on how to achieve it, start right there at hopes and dreams. And if you've got something that you've been wanting to try to do and you haven't been doing it, is it because you just want someone to give you a chance, or is it because you've been afraid to just try? And if you think about those two things, that'll get you really a long way onto achieving your purpose. And like I said, I could talk about it for hours.
Yeah, I believe you, and I could listen to it for hours, and it sounds like marvelous counsel. All right, what's the best way for our listeners to tap into your work, stay connected? Let's leave them with some coordinates.
Yeah, my website, brittersdorf.com, you can go there. You can type on Instagram, Brent Rittersdorf. There's not a lot of us. There's not a lot of those. You can, so Instagram, Facebook, Brent, I'm on there too as well. So I'm on all the typical channels, LinkedIn. You can feel free to friend me. Go on to the Married to Business website. You can look for our weekly networking event and just come on down. Love to have you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. That was an inspiring, invigorating conversation. Hey, how about hanging out with us while we visit with our next guest?
Is that okay to do that? I'd love to do that.
Absolutely.
Outstanding. I'm here for the long haul.
All right. Next up on Cherokee Business Radio this morning, please join me in welcoming back to the Business RadioX microphone, Joshua Kernitsky. How are you, man?
I'm doing great this morning, Stone. How are you?
I'm doing well. Did you learn anything out of that last segment?
More than anything, what I learned is having a difficult last name makes it hard for people to find you.
Yeah.
But the 10 for 10 really, really resonated with me. So I'm really excited to learn more about it. And I can't wait for the book to come out.
Awesome. Thanks.
And we all know this guy, this Farrell Middleton guy, that is like the mega connector of Cherokee and Cobb County and probably places well beyond. So I'm glad he got us all together. Remind us, if you would, Joshua, I won't put you on the hot seat and say,
Sure.
What is your purpose? But I will say, what are you doing out there doing for folks, man?
Well, I'm truly fortunate because I've had enough time and have learned what my purpose is, but I learned that through an enormous amount of spectacular failure. It's the only way we can learn. My father taught me that right out of the gate. What I do to help the universe is I'm a professional implementer of a business operating system called EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. And I spend my time working with entrepreneurial organizations, usually between 10 and 250 employees, to help them really get everything they want out of their business.
I asked Brent the same question, but I'm going to ask you, what's the most rewarding about that work, man? What do you enjoy the most there?
So there's a moment, and what we have is a very structured process we take these leadership teams through, but there's a moment when the light goes on. And when that light goes on, when you see the people that you are working to help understand difficult concepts get it, that's the most rewarding thing I get. That's better than anything else I could imagine, because it truly does change their lives.
I bet it does. All right. Can we let the cat out of the bag and
Please.
ensure the real reason we invited you to be in the studio?
Well, I guess the easiest way to say this is Stone and I have known each other for a little over 2 years now.
Yeah, and we're not dating and we're not getting married. But it's still a good tee up. Well, we are kind of getting married a little bit.
It's more than dating.
All right.
Just don't tell my wife. But Stone and I have had the opportunity to get to know each other over time, really more personally than professionally. And what came as a result of that was a clear understanding that we are deeply aligned in the core values that we live our lives by. And because of that, I am thrilled to say that I will be partnering with, working with Stone and the team here, and moving in to take more of the load off of Stone so he has more time to continue to go and grow his business.
Oh, man, we are so excited about this partnership. Yeah, so you're going to see and hear a lot more from Joshua in the weeks and months to come. But as we continue at the network level to expand the network and place studios in communities all over the country, this is just the perfect opportunity to team up with Joshua, have you come in. I know you're going to you've got all kinds of great plans. You've already added so much to the local operation, but this is going to be a lot of fun. So you're gonna see and hear Joshua hosting Cherokee Business Radio, working with our clients who have their shows. And this is going to be a blast. And we're getting started like yesterday, right?
Yeah, and I hope everybody likes my voice.
You do have one of those voices. I got to say that's not really the reason that we teamed up with you, but it's an extra benefit. That's going to be.
As I told you, my mother always said I had a face for radio.
Absolutely. So lots more to come from Joshua. Gentlemen, this has been a really fun way to invest a Tuesday morning. Thank you both for coming, Joshua. I'm just as excited as I can be, as is the whole Business RadioX team. And Brent, I am so excited for you. What a fun time for you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a great time. It's fun to be able to participate in it, and it's I'm on my own 10 for 10 journey on this, so yeah. It's a lot of fun. And Joshua, congrats to you.
Thank you.
As well. Maybe I get a chance to come on another time.
I look forward to it. You got to bring a basketball, though.
All right. I'll get a basketball. I got one.
Well, he's the man now. I got no pull here. I got no weight. You want to get something done at the Cherokee Business Radio studio, you got to talk to Joshua.
I can't. I'm not going to get any love if I just call you directly.
No, I'm just going to tell you, I don't know. You have to call the boss, see what he has to say. Oh, what fun. All right. Until next time, this is Stone Payton for our guest today, Brent Rittersdorf and Joshua Kernitsky, and everyone here at the Business RadioX family saying we'll see you again on Cherokee Business Radio.